Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to another video. So in this video I'm going to be talking about ideas of places that you can stay while you're in medical school, PA school, just some options, because I know when I was in PA school we didn't really have too many options, or there weren't too many resources out there in like one central location. For those of you who are wondering, I am a physician assistant and I graduated from Lincoln Memorial University in Knoxville, Tennessee. And so with that program, we had to travel for our clinical rotations. So we had rotations as far as down in Florida, all the way up to Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, even Texas, some in California. And a lot of times, if we found somewhere where we knew someone, we had the ability to go there as well. But in these places, of course, we didn't have any housing. We had to find our own housing. We had to pay for our own housing. So all of that. So it was a stressful situation. I will say that it was worth it because we got to travel and explore, see a little bit of different cities. You know, maybe you were thinking, or if we were thinking about moving to a certain city. So to be clear, we didn't have to find our own placement. Our school found our own placement. However, if there was somewhere where we were interested in, then we were able to essentially go to that location if it was approved. First up, Rotating Room. RotatingRoom.com is basically a resource for medical students, nursing, physician assistant, nurse practitioner, medical professionals basically, who are traveling for clinical rotations, because there are some people who actually do realize that this does get expensive. And for my program in general, we had to go somewhere month to month. Now there were some locations where we were there for 1 to 3 months, some of them for 6, just depends. But a lot of my rotations, I actually was in a different city or state each month. Rotating Room is a great option. It's a great resource to find basically fully furnished housing in a different city. Secondly, Airbnb. A lot of my classmates used an Airbnb. So Airbnb can be a hit or miss, as we all know, but there are some hidden gems on Airbnb. And I will say that sometimes if you even message the host outside of Airbnb and say, hey, look, I'm a student, I'm traveling, I have no money. Can I get a discount? Can I get a reduced rate? Like, what can we do? Do you have another site on which you are listed so that I can avoid the Airbnb rates, or what can we do? Because I really like your place. I want to be able to stay here. It looks very comfortable and to my liking. So, you know, kind of try to negotiate with the host. Next, a hotel. So depending on the type of rotation that you have, maybe it is a rotation where you're only there 3 days out of the week. You're still close to home, yet you're 3 hours away, roughly. So for me, one of my rotations basically was 3 hours from where I stayed at the time at school with my family. And essentially I only had to be there Monday through Thursday. The kick was I didn't have to be there till like 10 a.m. Monday morning, and I would work till like between 5 and 7 Thursday evening. So for me, I did have an Airbnb each week. Like, I just scheduled it weekly because I was able to go home on the weekend. That saved me a little bit of money. But there was 1 week to where they were booked up for that week. So I booked 2 weeks at an Airbnb, Monday through Thursday. And then 1 week I had to stay at a hotel. And I only had to stay 3 nights because I would essentially go home on Thursday, go home 3 hours, and then drive back Monday morning because I didn't have to be there till 10. So I would leave like 6, 7 a.m. or something like that Monday morning, drive straight to my rotation, and go to my Airbnb after. So I would only have to pay for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's 3 days of housing. So sometimes you have to work it, wiggle it like that, and it works out. Now, the hotel that I stayed in, it wasn't too far from my Airbnb. Actually, it was right across the street from my Airbnb because my rotation was actually in a very small town. So the hotel, depending, sometimes it's a hit or miss as far as the cost. I think I may have paid like a total of 500 and something or 6 something for all 3 days. I cannot remember, but it's what I had to do for that rotation, so I just went ahead and did it. The location that I was at wasn't necessarily, it wasn't big for one, and it wasn't the best of locations. It was a college town, so it felt safe in the area that I was in. Now my rotation was about maybe 30, yeah, it's about 30 minutes away from where I was staying, so it wasn't a bad drive. But that's an option, Airbnb hotels. Next, I would highly encourage you to research area housing education centers. So basically what this is, and every state does not have it, but there are some states who have free housing for students. So you have to apply, and if you qualify, you can have free housing for your rotation if it's outside of where your primary address is. So essentially, like I said, you would apply, you would get approved. These housings are fully furnished. Now there are some places, I'm not sure exactly how it works. I haven't used it, but I've heard of other physician assistants who I was on a rotation with at one point in time. They actually use that housing, and that was how I found out about it. So it's free housing. You apply for it. It's through the state or like through university funding, basically. And not every state participates in it. So I would highly suggest you research that for the state that you're in to see if that's available, and apply if you can, because what's the worst I can say? Nope. So, and it can save you some coins also. I wish I had that resource, or I wish I had the opportunity for places where I stayed while I was doing my rotation. So I would save yourself some coins and go ahead and apply. I will also research Zeus Living. That's ZEUS living.com. Now, I will say that I went on there about a week ago and there was a whole site. However, today was match day for medical students. So I went on there again right before this video and there was nothing on there. I think it's more of a hit or miss as far as what they offer, but I did happen to browse upon some good resources, and I think they had some links in there of places or options you can use for medical students to be able to find housing in the area of their rotation. The next one is Meds Housing, MEDS housing.com. So this is basically another global housing network for medical professionals to find affordable housing, fully furnished, for when you are away at your clinical rotations and you need a place to stay. It's not long term, it's just somewhere for you to stay that's not going to break the bank. And there are a couple of resources that are state specific that I just kind of came upon. There's Stat Living, which is only located in New York. Vox on 2, that's VOX on the number 2.com. That's for those of you who are located in Boston. Home for the number 4 docs.com, and that one is for those of you that are in Chicago. And my last place that I'm going to mention is, well, one of the last places that I'm going to mention is actually Furnished Finder. Furnished Finder was a great resource for me. I actually found a really nice place that was listed on Furnished Finder in a city that actually they were busting heads on pricing, but I found a very good deal. And the people that I stayed with were super, super friendly. It was basically, they lived upstairs, I lived downstairs. It was basically like an apartment. So there are actually a lot of resources out here for people who are renting out rooms and who only want to rent out to medical students. People who have been through this, people who are in the medical field, and they know that we're reliable, we're broke. They want to help out. So I definitely would just do some more research. I'm sure there are plenty more than the things that I have mentioned, but these are just a couple to help get you started. Lastly, family. Stay with relatives. There were a couple places where I was able to stay with family or make arrangements to stay with friends. So that's definitely always an option, and of course the best option, because anywhere that you can stay for free is definitely better. So if there's anywhere that you can think of or any more sites that you want to mention, feel free to please list them below so that anybody else that finds this video will be able to go to the comment section and find other ideas for their away from home living during clinical rotations. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye for now.